Yeah, so in Article 92 is basically when you get charged with that, it's disobeying a lawful order by any higher up. And what is lawful, right? Like, is what, you know, is what they did in Afghanistan lawful? Like, do we know? Like, there's just a lot of gray area when it comes to, like, what is lawful and what is not. And a lot of people will argue, like,
blowing up
that's
boats,
not lawful.
speedboats coming from South America.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's
Like
gonna be a
contemporary
huge, that's gonna be a huge thing, cause like, one, well, I mean, it came from, like, Trump, right? So, but like,
You know, I don't think he gets all of his ideas on his own.
yeah.
I think Melania tells him something.
Some
No, that's not just Melania.
No.
It's
I mean,
also Steve Bannon. It's
there's-
also.
I think there's
Ru-
definitely
Russ.
gonna be some kind
Well-
of like backlash from all that because there's a lot of stuff that you have to go through. Like when we were like off the coast of like somewhere by Russia. Like we had Russian planes like dipping down. We couldn't do anything. They weren't touching us. They weren't doing anything. So I don't know. They didn't have drugs necessarily, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like just since I've been out, which has not been that long, I feel like there's been a lot of changes. So yeah.
This book, which I brought up in response to your
Mhm.
do what your commander or your leader is doing, that wouldn't have helped people back in the various battles that he talks about in this. Historically, this book is considered an absolutely excellent book in history, especially of battle, right? He was never in a battle himself, he just did research. He says, so that's, he doesn't, try to act like, this, by the way, is the skull of a northern, like Norway or Viking or somebody, in a mass grave that they found. That's just why it's on the cover. But basically, when you look at the battles that he covers Agincourt, which is the one where Henry V succeeded tremendously over the French, mostly because of the advent of the English longbow, which just absolutely tore up the French nobility. But that one is interesting because King Henry was in the battle himself, fighting. They didn't actually have very many people, and so there was a very thin line, and so he was absolutely right out there. Waterloo, on the other hand, you've got Napoleon, and Napoleon is sick and sitting back in his headquarters while the armies are fighting, and that's pretty much what happens with the Somme as well. You've got all the officer corps sitting far back from the lines, so they're pretty safe. So that and he gets into the whole point of battle being during World War I. People like the poet Owens, I can't remember his first name. The poet that who criticizes how sweet it is to die for one's country. That's a kind of a famous Latin phrase from Seneca, I think. But in any case, good book. And so, normally history of battles is written from the general's point of view, but they're not up front on the lines experiencing all the things that are going on. So we've got actually a lot of writers who have changed that kind of history and are more interested in what battle's like up on the front lines for people. So that's fun. So where we go next class is really kind of the peak for me. This is like the top of the narrative for me when we do Hegel. Because personally, when I was in college, all this constant, destruction of the previous philosophers' ideas really got to me. I was really getting battle weary, in a sense, abstractly, right? And I began to felt like, this is just become. I'm so skeptical. How can I believe any of this stuff? Because the next guy is bound to be destroyed. Well, Hegel actually improves on Kant. He doesn't completely do away with what Kant comes up with. He just comes up with a philosophical view on what happens when we're learning to structure our brain to perceive phenomena, and leads to some really terrific results. So I remember coming away from studying Hegel with the flag. I was like, yes, we've reached the pinnacle of the absolute itself. Oddly, I'm still there. So that's kind of interesting, right? I mean, obviously there's going to be subsequent changes and developments and so on, but they're in a sense all taking off from Hegel's ideas. And it's not just Hegel. There's others. It's a whole community really that give us. There's a terrific book called. I can see one of these days I'm going to be too old to do this. It's terrible.
Increase your potassium.
No. Increased potassium will do it. It's. I'm sure I even mentioned this book already. Not Glora, but something Rebels. The something Rebels, and her name is. Shoot, I'll bring it the next time.
As soon as we leave, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, or at least if I'm driving home, boom, it'll just hit like that. But so it's neat. There's a whole community that's involved. In fact, the neat thing about the book is that she has a main character, Caroline. Caroline marries three of the main philosophers from the period. Three of them, including. But yeah. So did I give you guys a quiz question for today?
No.
Get it?
The one was the trees fall in the forest.
Yeah, I think that's. Well, the other one was, what do you think of the impact of modern social media on you? Does it disturb your ability to concentrate and stuff? And if you think about it, the media is the message. So when you're thinking about Kantian Kant's response, what structures your mind, the time you're spending now with these cell phones is going to impact how your mind thinks.
Do we have to do in-text citations for a term paper?
My favorite is when you just have a link, so that, like if you do have a resource that's online, just put the link there.
So just do a resource page?
You can do that if you like, but you don't have to. No structure requirement. Just in the text, like say, here's the link, to where I got this.
You're giving me too much access to freeball this.
The
Freeball it? It's like, how do I, that's not a
I'm
good
trying
word.
to do that. I'm trying to give you that kind of freedom
Commando.
because it makes it funner for you.
It is more.
So it's-
And also, you can explore your own interests as opposed to being stuck in thinking, I have in my mind there's a right answer, and if you don't get that right answer, for you, never. In philosophy, the more free associations you get to make, the more amazing things I get as a result, which has really helped me over the years. You can imagine this is what, my 160th time teaching the course,
That's crazy.
and I've asked the same questions all 160 times, but I get different answers.
Does it have a due date yet? What's your paper?
Term paper is like the week before the semester's over.
Okay.
That's Saturday.
And it's
So,
3,000 words.
yeah.
Should be
Have
two.
you picked anybody in particular so far?
It's just any philosopher that we can write about?
I do have a list.
A list from,
Yeah, did you see the list?
I think like the first day of class.
Yeah, it's, you could pick from the list, or if you do have someone that you're thinking of, my preference is that there's somebody that are alive and actively trying to deal with the problems that we're faced with today. So you realize that philosophy is like a live issue. This is not a dead ancient, Socrates and Plato